I think when we enter a hospital that's clinical and maybe a bit sterile and maybe a bit scary or whatever, when we walk through the front doors, we hear bells and whistles and noises, and sometimes alarms go off within us, that of fear or concern. And so mindfulness is the ability to be intentional and attentional in a sensory awareness role, to be present in the moment. So it's stable, it's non-reactive, it's non-judgmental, it's compassionate, it's kind, it's tender, it's hope-filled and hopeful. And so the ability to be still and pause is important when one comes to the hospital if you're accompanying someone, so that you can be a stable, gentle, kind force for them while they're here. I think the words that come back to me often are words that my mother said to me as a child growing up. She said, "David, take a slow, deep breath and count to 10 before you would say or do something that you might later regret." And so I think sometimes our mothers were our first teachers in mindfulness, to be still, to anchor ourselves perhaps with our breath, to inhale slowly and deeply, to be still, to be present, to notice that I'm here. I'm not in my thinking or my worried brain. I'm not preoccupied about the future, but I'm still and I'm here. And so there are lots of places that I think would enhance that ability to come back, because many of us will get hijacked when we're here in our heads. We will worry, or we will think, or we will overthink, and it's not very hard at all to go somewhere other than be present. And so to stop and to breathe ourselves, to go and get a cup of coffee, to hold a cup of coffee, to smell it, to feel it, to taste it, to notice, that it's warm and it's soothing, it's calming, and it helps to stabilize me to come back to this moment. If I'm walking the halls, I'm not pacing the halls, I'm walking them, and I notice the lights. I might hear the buzzers or the lights or the alarms, but I'm not reactive. I just notice. I might go to the cafeteria for a meal, and I really notice the food. I notice the temperature, the textures, the color. I taste the food. I nourish myself. I take care of myself, because if I'm going to be a supporter of somebody here at the hospital, I can't give what I don't have. I think the challenges of being in the hospital that operates 24/7 for our loved one, the lights and the noises, and the stimulus, and we want the best of care, and we want that vigilance. But we ourselves, as the anchors and the supporters of our loved ones, need to be still. And so the challenges are noticing that that's taking place, but not reacting to it. Pausing, taking notice. Oh, yes, there's a wall of pumps. There's a lot of noise going on here because workers are busy. But I stay still and I stay anchored in awarenessing of this moment, and not in my worried or overthinking head, but to be present for my loved one. There are times when worry overcomes us. We're saturated with fear and concern. And so in those moments, I think it's important to come off that autopilot noticing of worry, and even just track it, or to gently touch it, to name it. I'm worried, I'm concerned, I'm anxious. Sometimes just naming what's going on within us is enough to begin to let go of it. I think going back to our breath as anchor, going back to our coffee or our tea, anything that's sensory. What am I seeing? What am I hearing? What am I touching? What am I tasting? What am I smelling? And being intentional about coming to that space has the capacity to calm us, because we're no longer in the thinking and the overthinking mind. We're present to this reality in this moment. But we're going to be hijacked. There's no doubt about it. Hospitals or places or venues where lots of things are happening. It's a very fast pace. And that fast pace can be unnerving to many of us, regardless if we're a healthcare worker or the person who's coming to support somebody. We can all be unnerved by a hospital setting. But I think it's important for us to remember that we can come back to being present, to being still. We can walk the campus. We can go to the chapel. We can take a few moments to step outside and to take a slow walk down the hallway, just to recenter ourselves, to regroup. Those are some things that I would recommend. Hope is really important for healing. And we are the hope. We are the anchor. And so it's important for us to come back to the moment and recognize that we're intentional and attentional about being present to our loved one, to center ourselves in the awareness of being hope and being hope-filled and hopeful for the person that we're supporting.